Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be discussing single and archive templates, their similarities and differences between a classic theme and an FSE theme in WordPress. Keep in mind that we're doing the side-by-side comparison with comparing this classic theme with FSE in mind. So as for extra pages, when we installed the starter theme template from Blocksy, we already got the homepage, which is this. We got contact, services, news, it's going to be our blog over here, and about us by default. So with every one of these, we can just go ahead and click on edit page and change it up how we want. So if we wanted our contact page to be a bit different, we can go ahead and edit it with the block editor, and same with these other ones. But what if you wanted to add your own pages? So it's going to be basically the same for FSE, but first, well, there's a couple ways to do this. The first is on your top toolbar, you'll have this button called New, and click on Page. Alternatively, let's click on our Pages panel over here. And you can see we have our other pages, and a few of them have these little post text and in gray, which determines what they are. So these are assigned, this one is assigned as a front page, and this one is assigned as a posts page. So if we wanted to, we can go ahead and click on Add Page, and it'll take us to the block editor, and we'll have a blank page to work with. We can put a title, we can put whatever blocks we want, and these green shift blocks are pretty cool. Or we can even go ahead and use the green shift templates or whatever theme templates you have installed, of your choice, of your preference, and we can go ahead and import and drag and drop them. Just going to click on that, and we'll have a brand new extra page, and we can name it, and then we can add it to our menu, and our users or visitors will be able to access that page. So real simple, and we're working forward with this process. Let's now talk about the extra pages tab here under the setup wizard for green shift and an FSE theme. So earlier in the classic theme, you could see that at least with Blocksy, once we downloaded the starter site, we had all of these set up. So we had a contact us page, a blog archive page, a price page. I don't think we had a price page, but you get it. And when we set up our FSE theme, the only page we got was just the sample page, and we had to set up a separate home page. We had to create a brand new one, and in the menus segment, we had to create this About Us page. And, just like usual, you can always add a page and make a new page, and then link it somewhere here, right? Put a button here, or add it to your menu. But at least for this, it gives you the option to choose which ones you want to add. So let's go ahead and add all of these just for fun. So let's go ahead and not add these because they require these separate add-ons, and click on Save. Okay, and now we have these on our website. So if we were to refresh our site, they don't appear because we messed with our menu here. However, if we went down to Pages, you can see we now have our other pages. So if we went ahead and clicked on View under Blog, it's going to take us to our About Us, our blog archive. If we went to our prices, we can go to View, and you can see we have this template here that's already set up. And now we just have to add these to our menu. So just like any other page, you can go ahead and edit it from your pages over here, or just visit them on your website and then click on Edit Page. Okay, let's customize the single post template, blog post template, or in other words, how every single blog post will appear in a classic theme. So let's go ahead and click on Customize, because this is something that will apply to every single blog post. Here in our customizer, we can scroll down, and we have blog posts. Okay, and then this is for our archive. But if we click on single post, you can see we have a bunch of different options here. So starting from the top, we can enable or disable the post title, and it vanishes. But if we enable it, we get this little arrow here. You don't have to click on that. You can just click on this whole thing, and we can change, well, you have two to choose from: how it looks like. We can remove the meta, we can remove the excerpt, we can remove the title, we can change the alignment, the bottom spacing, we can change the design, font color, and we also have our next row over here. So post structure, we have a narrow width, we have normal width, and it should get wider. We can enable or disable the left or right sidebar. Since earlier we didn't have anything on our sidebar, we'll just probably put it in normal just to make a difference, and we can also make it boxed or unboxed. We can also toggle our different elements here. So just as in our title, we can enable or disable the featured image, right? Or if we enable something, we'll have the arrow here, which means that we can customize how the image looks like or whatever it is that we're messing with, right? Same with post navigation, the author box. If we scroll down here, right, we'll have our related posts, our comments, our subscribe form. Let's go ahead and remove the comments. It's that simple. And under design, it's basically the same thing. So we can inherit our background from the site, or we can customize it how we want. So let's go ahead and keep it on default because it's hard to read if it's any other color. And basically every single blog post that you have will look like this. And this is where you'll find the options for this. So go ahead and click on publish. And with that done saving, let's reload our site. And you can see that our blog post has changed. And if we went to a different blog post altogether, you can see that it looks exactly the same way.
Now for single post templates in an FSE theme such as GreenShift. So here again, we're under the GreenShift tab under theme settings, and after everything we have single post templates. And just like the headers and the footers, we have a few different options to choose from. So I have a test blog post lined up here, right? There's some text, there's a featured image, and well, that's a default one. There's going to be the cover one, okay, that looks great. And there's also the one with the negative margin. So I'm going to choose this one, all right, save. And let's go ahead and enter the site editor, so where we can edit our single blog post. And you can see how it looks like over here. And you can now see that it is, everything here is replaced with placeholder text. So for instance, if I wanted, you see this one is black. If I wanted to change the color of this, all I have to do is just go ahead and change the background to something else, like red, right? I can select these presets, right? And I can change the color of the text to be black. I can change the padding and the border radius of this if ever it came with one. So I'll just leave it on default. And there are a bunch of options for these ones. And you can see that this is a block that's just called title. And this one is author. This one is date. And then we can go ahead. And if we want to, we can just go ahead and delete these as well as the category. But since our post doesn't have a category nor tags, it doesn't have that. And these are all advanced elements. And you can see we have our block here. We can also choose inner blocks to use content with. We'll just keep that enabled. And again, we have a bunch of different options over here as well, like for spacing and padding. And the tags will show up here. We can change how the tags look like. We have our comments section here. And this is one of the things where FSE really excels, is that you're not really limited to the presets that you have on a classic theme, and that certainly makes it easier. But here you can see that you can definitely move things where you want them to be. And in fact, you can probably like do something like this where it's beside each other. Isn't that amazing? And the possibilities are limitless. It limits your imagination, right? If you wanted to move this above over here, you wanted to put the box right above over here, you could definitely do that, right? If you wanted to move this up, you wanted to move this down, you could definitely do that as well. So let's go ahead and click on Save. Okay. And if we were to view our site, it would just take us to our main site here because we were editing a template. So if you wanted to view the blog post, let's go ahead and take a look at our test blog post over here. Oops, not edit. Definitely not edit. Definitely view. And here we go. We have our test blog post the way that we customized it here in the editor. So isn't that cool?
Let's customize how our blog archive or archives in general will look like in a classic theme. So here in this starter theme, in the starter template at least, our blog is called News. And we have all of our blog posts here. And one reminder is that a lot of the terminology that WordPress uses is very archaic and passé and outmoded. So when we say blog posts or posts, it's kind of an interchangeable thing. Or if we say blog, it's not necessarily blog because this one says news. So that's a little thing to keep in mind. Just go ahead and click on Customize in a new tab. And you'll see that earlier in our blog post and navigating it, we found here blog posts. So let's click on this. And you can see we have the same option, well, similar options. We can enable or disable the blog title, and we'll have our breadcrumbs over here. And if you clicked on this, you can see it's going to ask us how we want it. All right, let's go ahead and enable it like this, and we can configure our breadcrumbs or just remove it altogether and return back here. And we have a few different presets to choose from. Let's go ahead and choose this one just because it looks a bit cooler with all the pictures that we have here, and we can limit the number of posts. And if we limit it even further, it starts giving us the numbers. Let's make 4. Okay, yeah, that's totally fine. And we have our design over here, and it's just for background. And we have our card options, right? And we can change how these card options look like. We can add a divider if we want. We can add a read more button if we want. And then we can customize how these ones look like. We can also make them boxed, have them cover, right? And if it doesn't work out nicely here, you might want to go ahead and save it and reload the site and take a look at how it looks like here, because the preview doesn't always show one-to-one how it's going to look like on the live site. Also change the gap. Yeah, we'll keep it on simple for now. And we can change our spacing, and we can have an effect on these when we load them up. We can also enable or disable the sidebar for this one, and we can also customize our page numbers. And one more thing is that we went to single post a while ago, and this was to change the single page blog templates. And under categories, let's say we had a category that's just, well, this is a dentist site, and there's some orthodontics here. If we had a category called orthodontics, we can change how that one looks like. So if we had a category for a category archive, we could change it here. But this is just categories in general. So if we had a category that's only a few items, we could probably go with these other options here. But if we wanted to have different grid options depending on, let's say, dental seats or like comfort or care, aftercare, you wouldn't be able to do that with this category setting. So let's go ahead and click on Publish, and let's reload our blog archive over here, and you can see it looks different, and we have animations now.
Now, how about the archive template in GreenShift, in an FSE like GreenShift? So we're under GreenShift tab under Theme Settings. After everything, we're now at the Post Archive template. And just like everything else, we have a few different presets, probably the best way to call it. Over here, you can see it's starting to change. Blog list, grid with shadow, cover on image, right? That looks great. And you can see this is how it looks like. And this is just the default for, let's say, for a category, for your, if you wanted to have a separate blog archive, you would have needed to use the extra pages one. But this is just how categories and tags will be presented to your users. So let's go ahead and we'll change it to this one. Click on save, right? And let's go ahead and refresh this, and you can see it has changed for us. But what if we wanted to edit it? And again, just like everything on an FSE, we aren't constrained to the limits of the WordPress customizer. Okay, so let's open up our settings over here, and if you clicked on this, we can change the archive type. So go ahead and click on save, and all of your options here you can go ahead and customize to your heart's desire. We make this black if we wanted to. How about that? There you go. Click on save, and let's go ahead and reload this. And you can see it doesn't have the category thing over here, and we've changed our text over here. So we can also change how many columns or rows there are based on the blocks that are included here. We can change the text color, the arrangement of all of this, and we can't state it enough. You aren't limited by the customizer, and that's what's so amazing about FSE.
Hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of our other videos, or go ahead and check out our channel and subscribe to see more content like this.